Hi everyone, welcome back. We are now going to take a look at our project pieces after they have been glued up. And once you have let both glue ups sit for 24 hours, you can take the tape off. So I am going to do that now. You can just get rid of it, just ball it up. And hopefully it comes off easily for you. It might, where the glue squeezed out, might be a little tougher. Just be patient. I'm just doing mine one by one instead of trying to get it all at once. You might see some splinters of wood also come off on the tape, and that's okay, because we're going to give this another light sanding once everything is off. Okay, so that's one. Put that aside. I'll do my other one. If you can get them both at the same time, that's great. This one, I got a 2-for-1. Looks like they're both coming off. And there we go. Okay. So all the tape is removed from both. And I'm just gonna look at how everything dried. It's looking pretty good. And this is going to be, for the purposes that we're using it for, this should be plenty strong for what you're doing. You know, if you're using this to support a ton of weight, since we didn't clamp it with actual clamps, it might be a little bit on the weaker side, but this should be perfectly fine for what we need. What you might notice when you take the tape off is, especially if you had the Tight Bond yellow glue, you're going to notice that it might have left some dried up glue spots on the corners, and this rabbited surface might be sticking out a little bit past this surface here. If you used white glue, you would see that it dried clear on that area, and you might still have some glue built up there. What you're going to want to do to get rid of that is sand it. All right. Now, don't hate me when I say this, but you're going to want to go down to either 100 grit or 120 grit. But remember, you're only sanding in the corner. We're not re-sanding the whole thing. That would be cruel of me to make you go back and do all of that all over again with all of the grits. So remember, as you're sanding, you do want to still go with the grain. And it can be a little time consuming to do it, but you want to go back and forth like this. Something else you can do, if you'd like, if you're having trouble holding it, set the sandpaper flat on the table and then set the piece on top of that and hold it down and move it back and forth on the sandpaper like that. Okay. But either way, you're going to want to work to level that out and get rid of the glue marks. Okay. So already from a little bit of sanding, and I'm not going to bore you with sanding the entire thing, but already with a little bit of sanding, like I had some marks right here and they are gone. So just take your time with this, be patient. If you find it easier to keep the sandpaper flat and you move the piece itself, that's fine. And that might even be better for this process because you're sanding then the entire thing at the same time instead of just sections at a time. And you'll get a buildup of dust. You'll start working away at those areas. When the yellow disappears, that's when you should be good to go. And you're also probably going to notice that these edges are even with each other as well. And then the last thing you're going to want to do before we're going to be ready to put all of this together is soften. If you didn't do this already, you're going to want to soften the corners, okay? And the way you're going to want to do that is, let me just grab my 220 grit, get a new piece here. With this, you're going to want to hold the sandpaper at an angle like this to the corners. And if you go back and forth, I'm going to start by keeping it kind of flat to the corner and go back and forth. And then I'm going to change my angle a little bit and go back and forth again. And then I'm going to change my angle again, go back and forth, change my angle again, back and forth. And what that's going to do is make a nice softened edge on the corner there so that it's smooth to the touch. And when you go running your finger across it, it shouldn't feel sharp. It should feel nice and smooth. Okay? So 2 things for this assignment. We're getting rid of our glue marks and we are softening all of our corners. All right, thank you for watching, and make sure you submit the next portfolio with your pictures of your glue removed and your edges softened. All right, bye everyone.